All right. Podcast question from Bobby, 1994. My son, 6 years old, has recently tried his friend's 2024 KTM E5 electric dirt bike. And after a lap on it, he was flying, cut at least 5 to 6 seconds off of lap time, clearing jumps he wouldn't even jump on his KTM 50 SXS. I'm throwing around the idea of getting him one as a second bike and keeping both for him to ride/race. He was also getting more comfortable on the 50 SXS after riding the e-bike. Talked to his friend's dad about it, and his son won't even ride the gas bike now because he isn't comfortable. His form goes out the door and just all around terrible at riding the gas compared to the e-bike. What's your recommendation on this situation? It's actually a great question.
Do you want to hear my opinion?
Yeah, please.
My opinion, at that age, you got to keep them engaged. Whatever it takes to keep them engaged, that's what you should do.
So if they want to just ride the e-bike, let them just ride the e-bike?
100%. Because that means they're still enjoying it, number one. And number two, they're probably more open to constructive advice on something like that, and they wouldn't be blaming the bike.
Yeah.
That's a big.
How old? 6 years old.
So that's a big tip for parents. You know, if a kid has a crash, you've heard the stories. Oh, my son crashed, he won't get back on the bike. Or my daughter did this, she won't get back on the bike. Well, because he or she is not having fun anymore. At 6 years old, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah. It's supposed to be fun the whole time.
It is. And then the learning comes. You can't expect a 6-year-old to nail the riders. You're not going to be able to do it. You're not. There's certain 6-year-olds that certainly can do it, and they're capable of doing it. But at that age, they get so easily discouraged, especially with a sport like this, that you want to make sure that they're making sure that they're having fun and open to learning. I guess that's probably the biggest piece of it. They got to be open to learning.
Yeah, and making learning fun, because if they create a preference, whether it's the gas bike or the electric bike, it is amazing practice to be able to learn how to adapt and go back and forth. But the only way you're going to do that is if you have the right mindset to be able to want the challenge of going back and forth. Mm-hmm. So if it's in the budget, I say
do both.
Yeah, I would say do both. Especially if he said in his son's situation that he got more comfortable and improved on the gas bike after being on the e-bike. That's how I use my e-bike, as a supplement to be able to practice things, because there's less going on. There's no clutch, there's no shifting. It's hand controls for the brakes. It's way more simple. There's less differences with the 50, but it's such smooth throttle delivery. It's easier to focus on the technique. So
you would give him the same advice?
Yeah, I think, yeah. I wasn't going to go down the path of, if he wants only one, let him have one, but I think that's probably accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say get both. That's probably, honestly, if Millie wants to ride, I think that she will be on a electric 50, period. No gas 50.
Yeah.
I just don't know if the gas 50 is as necessary.
That's not that far away.
No. I think that she could be on the Stasic, the small version of the Stasic, in the next 3 months. Because she could sit on it and put her feet on it.
What's stopping before she walks?
Yeah. I started riding before I could talk. So she might as well start riding before she could walk. She can stand up in attack position perfectly. And it goes 5 miles an hour. So I think the biggest struggle would be she's got a small head. So do they make a helmet that fits?
Put a diaper over her head and then a helmet on the diaper.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. So great question, Bobby. Get them both. I think it's
1994.
Great practice for multiple reasons. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.